Does this sound like you? Oh, did she cheat? Is she speaking to somebody else? Is she intimate with somebody else? Why do you care? Why does that matter so much to you, bro? One of the biggest lies that you have been told is that you need closure. No, you don't need closure. You need boundaries. I remember I was sitting in this hotel lobby with my ex. I asked her to meet up. It was weeks after we had broken up. And I was trying to get her back, trying to show her that I've changed, even though I didn't need to change. I was fine just the way I was. I was asking her, are you speaking to anybody else? Are you seeing anybody else? Are you being intimate with anybody else? To which she replied, it's none of your business. And in my mind, you then kind of understand that, yeah, she probably is. And then a little part of you breaks. It made me feel so depressed. It brought me into a deep depression. It made me feel like the one woman that I loved so much would move on with somebody else without even caring. She became so cold. And in that moment, I realized she used the fact that I cared so much as this emotional crutch to keep me involved. She was often smiling about the fact that I kept on asking her if she was intimate with somebody else. At the end of it, I realized that I will never allow someone to disrespect me or bring me down to that level of emotional turmoil ever again. I will never allow somebody to use my emotions against me simply because I think I want closure. Closure doesn't exist. You need boundaries. Only once you begin to develop boundaries, bro, can you begin to move on with your life and find somebody that truly respects you. We can find the confidence in your life to go and attack things again and become somebody that's worth something. Because I know that you know that you're capable of so much more. But the fact that you think you want closure for a woman that you've known for maybe a year of your life, considering you've been alive for maybe 20 or 30 years, is absolutely stupid. One of the main things I realized about closure is that you don't actually want closure. You just want to be closer to the person. When I was trying to see my ex and understand the reasons as to why we broke up or for the reasons of why she's speaking to somebody else, I never truly cared. I did care in some aspect, but it was the fact that I was near her. Her emotional hold on me is what kept me around her for so long. And I know for a fact that it's something where you really do care about a woman. You really do care about this woman. You've been with this woman for months, maybe years. You've looked after her. You've understood every single part of her. You've become emotionally vulnerable for the very first time with somebody that you think you care about. But now you need to move on and forget that. You seek the closure because you want to be close to her, not because you care about the situation itself. And it sounds ironic because you might be saying, well, what are you talking about? Of course I care about the situation. That's the person I cared about. But if that person cared about you, they would not be treating you the way you are being treated right now. Yes, if you made your mistake, okay, fine. If you've cheated, okay, fine. But in the majority of these cases, I've realized that the woman of your dreams becomes so cold. And I guess it's in some sense it's to protect herself. But it brings you down and it absolutely destroys you. So forget the closure. Let me ask you a question. Whenever you've sought closure from somebody that's broken your heart, did you end up feeling better? And one of the things you might say is, well, yeah, after I figured out what she was doing or if she was speaking to somebody else, I felt better. I felt a weight lift off my chest. Now let's reframe it. Let's say, for example, you didn't do that. You never knew. It was never any of your business. What you know can't hurt you. You would speed up your recovery time and get back on track with your fitness, your health, your mental health, and your resilience and your confidence almost immediately. Every time I sought closure, it brought me down to the pits of hell and despair that made me so profoundly depressed that I couldn't leave my room for months. I gained so much weight, I became fat, I looked ugly, I had spots from stress, and I don't think I ever want to go back to a place like that ever in my life again. I remember sitting in my room, staring at my ceiling, and it was raining, my room was dark, and I was thinking about all the different ways I could end it, simply because I sought closure. Become more selfish with yourself, bro. There is no reason as to why you should be seeking closure about if your ex-girlfriend is sleeping with somebody else. It's the most stupidest thing. I think when I look back at my younger self, I can't blame myself, and you should not blame yourself either for wanting to understand what's going on. But you've got to come out of this anxiety-ridden mindset. It doesn't serve you. It only holds you holds you back from what you're meant to do. There's so much you're meant to accomplish. You want to become financially independent. I talk about this all the time in my videos where you make so much money every single month. You can support your parents and your family, and you can buy nice things, a nice car, a nice house. You can change your bloodline's circumstance. But what, you're gonna stop that for a woman that you've known for maybe 2 years? The average lifespan of a human is about 60 years, 65 years. Why are you wasting time with somebody that doesn't give a flying fuck about you? Why? There's so much things to do in this world. There's so much things to experience. What do you want to experience? Maybe you want to, go on a holiday where you, experience different cultures, different foods, different activities, different practices. But you're worried about this one girl that lives 10 minutes away from you in your area. You want to worry about this girl that doesn't even know what she's doing with her life. She doesn't even like herself. Why are you doing that to yourself, bro? And oftentimes that closure never even comes. The problem with wanting to seek closure is you're going to try and ask questions from every different angle. But the more questions you ask, the more questions you'll have. It's a downward slope. There is no inherent benefit to seek closure. And you know what? One thing I used to tell myself, bro, and you might understand and resonate with this, is I used to tell myself that seeking closure would make me feel better. Simply knowing that the person has done something would put my mind at ease. I guess you can maybe understand where I'm coming from in that sense, especially if you're anxiety ridden. But to a point, you've got to ask yourself, am I producing my own anxiety? I claim to be this person filled with anxiety, but I'm the person asking silly questions, knowing the answer. If you're asking a question, you already know the answer, you just want to confirm it. And then you wonder why you're so anxious all the time. And I get and I understand it's not your fault. I feel like I got this kind of habit from my parents. How my parents put me in this position of not knowing whether or not I was wrong or right for something that I did. So I was always on edge. I was always on my tiptoes worrying about if I was wrong or I was right. And I brought that into my relationships. But you don't have to live like that anymore, bro. You can simply choose to say, well, no, I'm not going to be this person anymore. I'm going to be different. I'm going to choose to go about things in a different way simply because I respect myself too much to put myself down. Set emotional boundaries against people like this, especially with somebody like a woman that you might care about. Set emotional boundaries. Stop asking for closure. Remove the contact. Go no contact. Do not message that person. I remember it got me so stuck into this continuity cycle where I would text the person, asking them what they're doing, wondering if they're speaking to someone, if they're going on a date with somebody, are they choosing to be with somebody else other than myself? It's mentally degrading. It destroys you from the inside out. Set emotional boundaries and move back, push back on that person so you can start to heal and become the best version of yourself. Start building up confidence with yourself again. One thing I will never do again, and one thing I hate so much, and hate is a very strong word, is that I didn't respect myself. I look at myself as the most important person in my life right now. And some people might say, oh, well, yeah, it's narcissistic, or nah, it's not narcissistic. Because when I don't care about myself, people use me. People treat me like trash. And I don't consider myself a horrible person. I try to do my best, and I try to live by a decent moral standing, probably just like you. You don't wish to hurt anybody. You don't intend to go out of your way to treat anybody horribly. But one thing with these relationships is you might be gaslighted into thinking that you're a horrible person, that you treat people horribly, that you didn't do the best in the relationship. When I know for a fact that you know that you tried your best with what you know, but the person didn't want to work with you. So don't fall for that trap. Start to build that confidence again in yourself. Going to the gym, working out, eating healthily, speaking to people that truly care about you. And if you don't have anybody around you that truly cares about you and understands what you're going through, I'm here for one. And for two, be that person for yourself. Go on walks, treat yourself properly. Learn to love and respect yourself. And yes, it will take time to truly understand how to do this, especially if you've only ever done it while being in a relationship. But once you learn to do it by yourself, for yourself, will you begin to act differently and choose yourself more appropriately in many different situations, not just relationships, at work, at business, and what you expect and respect from other people. You've also got to remember, bro, is you've got to start protecting your energy in these relationships, especially toxic relationships as well. Many toxic relationships are there to try and teach you something, because you've gotten with that person because you couldn't see for the life of you that they're not good for you. Why you're choosing people that don't truly care about you. You don't need closure. You need boundaries. Closure has never helped anybody. Closure is a lie. Closure is a fallacy. All it does is it slows your healing down. It puts you in a position to feel weakened. You might say that you're anxious and you need the closure to, I don't know, feel somehow connected to that person. No, cut off, go no contact. There's so much more that needs to be done. You need to be in the gym working on your body and your physique and your mental health. You need to be crafting your legacy in your business. You need to be going up the corporate ladder. You need to be making money. You need to be figuring out what it is that you need to achieve in your life. And you're only going to get those things once you stop looking at what happened and look at what you can become. And the only way you can look at what you can become is stop focusing on the closure that you need for months. It doesn't exist. And remember, bro, never forget who you are.